Good evening, Fernwood. It is your glass of empathy having friend Neil here, and it's time for us to fill our glasses again by watching a whole new episode of Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman. Today we will be checking out the June 24th, 1976 episode, and since yesterday's episode really covered one main plot line, I thought we should maybe take a look at a couple of plot lines we haven't seen for a couple of days. The Haggers, Charlie and Loretta, have been trying to move away from the church that Loretta has been working with. She met up with Merle Jeters, the sort of pater familia of the church there, father of Jimmy Joe Jeters, who had recently admitted to Loretta that he had been seeing prostitutes and also had struck at least one of them. Of course, Loretta is trying to move away from the church and go back towards a secular career, but Merle begs Loretta to come on the road with him to Chicago to appear with him there. Kathy Shumway has been working with Clete Meisenheimer over at Action 6 News. She's risen up the ranks every time she gets a little bit uneasy about working for the company there because they don't pay her very well. Clete continues to move her up, but also they were talking about getting married very soon, and that's weird because she still has feelings for Father DeMarco. Ed and Howard McCullough have been struggling with being a gay couple in the closet. Of course, Howard wants to stay in the closet. Ed, on the other hand, has asked Howard to marry him, and of course Mother Betty McCullough is trying to set Howard up with Mary, and in fact has verbally asked Mary to sleep with Howard to prove that he's not gay. Then, last episode, we really focused on one plotline, as I mentioned before, and that is Tom Hartman's descent into alcohol. He has been numbing his emotions and his pain for several weeks at this point, and he has returned home after splitting up with Mary. She had been seeing Dennis Foley, but that relationship was busted up. Yesterday we started with Tom recovering from a hangover after really interrupting Mary's documentary shoot for the contest looking for the most typical consumer housewife. Of course, Mary confronts Tom about finding a Scope bottle full of vodka and another bottle hidden inside. Mary has one of her reactions to the flight patterns, and it was really about as strong as I've seen her have. Tom then promises Mary that he won't drink, but then as soon as Mary leaves Tom alone with the alcohol because she has to rush off to the documentary crew, Tom sneaks a final drink, and Mary, of course, sees this, and it's kind of a shock between the two of them. The second scene starts with Kathy and Billy Twelvetrees. Billy Twelvetrees gives some advice to Kathy about her relationship and the stuff that's going on at the studio. Grandpa Larkin comes in, and Billy Twelvetrees helps him with his lumbago. Mary comes over and asks for advice about how to deal with Tom's alcoholism, and as Billy Twelvetrees is a recovering alcoholic who has been through Alcoholics Anonymous, he gives Mary the hard talk that says if he doesn't want the help, he's not going to get the help, and to do that, you might have to kick him out of the house to make him want that help. There's a little bit more to it than that, but that's essentially the advice that Billy Twelvetrees gives, and it is from his lived experience. Tom has made his way over to the Capri Lounge for some drinking in the day. Dennis Foley is strangely also at the Capri Lounge, where he and Tom have a conversation, which leads to Dennis saying to Tom that Mary had asked him to marry her, and that's why he broke it off. Well, he says that Mary needed to be married to Tom, and that was the best plan, and that's why he broke it off. That's what Dennis has to say. And finally, we're back at the Hartman residence with the camera crew, where Mary puts on a show about what it is to be the most consumer housewife. Of course, that's interrupted again by Tom, who really is just unleashing on Mary in front of the cameras, and at this point, without suggesting that Tom get any kind of help or seek Alcoholics Anonymous, for instance, kicks Tom out. And that's where we ended, and I think that's where we've got to start.
Mary Hartman! Mary Hartman! Now, Tom is an alcoholic, okay? And the best thing, yes, you are. And the best thing to do for an alcoholic is to not to help him. So I'm just going to ask him to leave now, okay?
I'm not
Tom,
an alcoholic.
you are to leave this house and you're not to come back.
I would like
till you
another
stop
drink of
drinking.
Bing Cherries,
Tom, you
please.
are an alcoholic.
I am not an alcoholic.
Tom,
Mary.
you're an alcoholic.
Take that
You're
back.
an alcoholic, and the only way I can help an alcoholic is to ask you to leave. You gotta get out of the house, Tom. Get out of the house. Get out of the house. Get out of the house.
Right.
See, like what I just did there, that is the best thing for him. I can guarantee you that. The move that I just made has a guarantee.
Hey, home?
Tom,
Yeah?
come in. I'm in the den.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
I don't mean to barge in like this.
Oh,
Betty.
that's quite all right.
Yeah, I just came over to pick up my dirty laundry.
It's not dirty anymore. I washed it.
Oh, I see. Well, that's very nice of you. That's very sweet of you. You didn't have to really do that.
Oh,
though.
I just put it in with some things I was doing for Howard.
I really appreciate that, Betty. That's really sweet of you, because, well, I would have to go to the laundromat otherwise, and I haven't done that for a long time. It's something I suppose I just have to start getting used to again,
Oh.
Yeah.
I take it your reconciliation with Mary didn't quite work out.
Oh, I guess you could put it that way, Betty.
Oh, Tom, what are you gonna do?
I don't
Where are you gonna live?
I don't know. Maybe I'll just get myself a cheap room somewhere or a motel or something. Hey, Betty, listen, do me a favor. I need a drink. You got a drink around?
Do you really think you ought to have one?
Yeah, I need one bad. I really do,
All right. You know where the liquor is. Help yourself.
Thanks.
Tom, I want to talk to you about something.
Yeah, okay. What?
Howard and Ed.
Oh.
Only I'm not sure I quite know how to put this.
Listen, if you're worried about me babbling what I know about him all over town, forget it. There's nothing to worry about. Forget it.
Thank you.
What's to thank me for? What they want to do on their own is their business. They're not hurting nobody. It's no skin off my nose.
I am glad to see you have such a sensible attitude about it.
Yeah.
Not too many people do, you know.
I'll tell you something, Betty. The way I figure things is there's enough trouble in the world without more people, getting into trouble because they're innocent. I just figure life is too tough as it is.
I have never heard it expressed more sensitively or intelligently.
Yeah, well, thanks. I appreciate that. It's just, well, look, as far as I'm concerned, they're okay, Ed took me in when I had no place to go, and I really appreciate that. So for me to do anything, that would be a rotten way to repay him, to let everybody know. I would never do that. I just wouldn't. I wish them both good luck, both him and Howard.
Well, that's very nice of you. However, I think that Howard is about to start a new life.
What?
An entirely new life.
You're kidding. You mean he's going to go straight?
Well, I think so. At least I hope so. I think he is beginning to understand that he isn't really the way he is. I've always thought he was just confused. I've always felt that, well, all he needed was to find some woman who could bring out the real person in him.
That's terrific. That's great. That's really great. He finally found somebody? He's found somebody?
I think so, yes.
Really great, right. Here in Fernwood he's found
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Who? Anybody I know?
Somebody you know very well.
Oh, yeah? Who?
Yeah.
Come on, tell me.
Mary.
Mary. Mary Hartman. My Mary.
Yes, Tom. She's such a warm, understanding person.
Hey, wait a minute, Betty. You mean Howard and my Mary?
Oh, it would be a beautiful thing for Howard. Are you upset?
No, Betty. I just feel like I had open heart surgery.
Well, I only told you this because you've been so understanding, and I certainly didn't think it would upset you since you say that there's no chance that you and Mary will ever reconcile. I mean, after all, if Mary and Howard...
Yeah, I understand. Listen, Betty, do me a favor, will you? Will you just please go get my dirty laundry? Huh?
Yes, I'll get it. Of course. I'll be right back.
Howard? Oh.
Tom? I am sorry, but my first duty is as a mother.
Hiya, 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 hiya. Oh, that hurts my head. How am I doing, Pa?
Not bad. You're really getting into it.
I guess we Indians have natural rhythm, too. Of course, I'm only half Indian, so I suppose it will take me a little longer to learn.
You're doing fine. I'm proud of you.
Thank you, Daddy. Oh, it's so exciting learning how to be an Indian. Of course, I'm already an Indian, at least half an Indian, but now I have to learn the other half.
That's right. There's a lot to learn, Martha. Us Choctaws have a long, proud heritage.
What does that mean now? A long, proud heritage. Is that the pigtails you're wearing?
No, it means our history and traditions. This pigtail is part of the tradition.
Oh, that's good. I was afraid you might be a hippie. Do Choctaws have hippies?
You can't make generalizations about us any more than you can about other groups of people, Martha. Swedish people, black people, French people, whatever. We're people. Some good, some bad, and some in between.
Oh. Now, tell me some more about our Choctaw tradition.
Well, there's head flattening. A flat head is one of the trademarks of a Choctaw.
Really? My head's not flat. Of course, I'm only half Choctaw, but it's not even half flat.
The papooses aren't born with flat heads, honey.
Papooses, is that how you say it? I always thought the plural was papoose.
No, it's papooses.
Am I the only papoose that you and my mother had?
Yep. I'm afraid I only saw your mother once in my life.
Only once?
That's right.
So that must have been at that time that I was...
Conceived?
Uh-huh.
That's right.
Only once, just think.
When I was young, I guess I was pretty wild.
I'm almost an immaculate conception. And you were a wild Indian.
I guess you could have called me that. Anyway, I never saw your mother again. And I never knew about your being born. But I'm glad, Martha, that you and I found each other. I'm proud to have you for my daughter.
And I am proud that I have a Choctaw for a father. I still love my other father, of course, very, very much. Grandpa Larkin. I hope you don't mind.
Not at all. He's a fine man. And I can see he's been a good father to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very good. Now, you tell me some more about us Choctaws. What did you do when you were young? I mean, outside of going out with girls once and being very wild. I mean, what did you do before you joined the circus?
Well, I guess I was a pretty regular fellow. Maybe you wouldn't know it to look at me, but I was quite a good athlete.
Did you play tennis?
No, my game was lacrosse.
Lacrosse? I don't think I ever saw that. How do you play it?
Well, I'll show you. It's something like basketball, except instead of throwing the ball or bouncing it, You carry it in a lacrosse stick. Now that's kind of like a tennis racket with loose strings so you can catch the ball in it. Then when you catch the ball, you can either run or pass. Oh, I'm sorry. I was just showing Martha how to play lacrosse. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's a much too strenuous game to play. Ma, you're much too old to play a game like that, believe me.
Mary, I didn't know you knew anything about lacrosse.
Well, Tom used to play. Is that lacrosse? He used to play that in high school. Tom used to play baseball and basketball, and he was just a wonderful athlete, and it's just awful what the alcohol, did to him. I guess it just dissolves your muscles and things like that.
Like I told you, Mary, if you want to get him to stop, you have to resort to drastic measures.
But I did. I kicked him out. I mean, that's a drastic measure, isn't it? And I feel just terrible about it. I mean, maybe some people can do these things and not feel terrible, but I did it, and I feel just terrible about it. I mean, I really do feel terrible.
Mary, you did the right thing. That's the only way Tom's ever going to come to his senses. The only way you could help him.
Yeah, but then maybe there's another way of helping him. I mean, it's like a helping him. Like I could feed him some black coffee, or I could give him cold showers, or read him some pamphlets or something like
Mary,
that.
Believe me.
But don't you see, he has no place to go. I mean, he has no place to turn. I mean, what is he going to do when we get married? It's his love, honor, and obey. You think that's honorable? You think it's honorable that I kick him out?
Mary, he's an alcoholic.
Maybe he isn't. Maybe he just has a little problem.
No, he's sick. Alcoholism is not just a drinking problem. It's a disease.
Really? A disease? Is it contagious?
No, it's not contagious.
Oh, that's good, for heaven's sakes. Heather is so susceptible. Why, that would be terrible if that little child caught alcoholism even before she was old enough to go into the bars.
The only good thing you can say about alcoholics, it's not contagious.
Oh, I hate that word, alcoholics. Maybe Tom is just a drunk.
I like that, too. I like the word drunk better, too. I like that. I like drunk. What's the difference?
You're an alcoholic if drinking interferes with any major area of your life.
Well, drinking interferes with certain major areas of Tom's life. Also, a lot of minor areas, too. But, it does interfere with, mostly major areas, but many minor areas. Many minor areas.
Is this what they call junk food?
Son, you gotta learn to be a little bit more appreciative of what the Lord provides us.
But, Daddy, this wasn't provided by the Lord.
No.
It was provided by Taco-Rama.
Just think of it as manna from heaven, okay?
Is manna supposed to give you a stomach ache?
And now cut that out, will you? Don't be so ungrateful. Just remember, when we get through that revival in Chicago, we'll be eating in all the fancy restaurants you want.
I'd rather eat at Mrs. Hager's house. That was a good dinner we had that night. And she's really nice. I like her.
She's more than nice, son. Much more than nice. See who that is, Bill.
Yeah, sure. Hi, Mrs. Haggers.
Hi, Reverend Honey.
Well,
How are you?
goodness. Look who's here. Come on in here.
Hi.
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Well, you know what I call this?
What?
An unexpected pleasure. Sit down there.
Well, listen, I can only just stay a very few seconds, but I do have something to tell you that needs to be said,
Oh, I hope you can stay more than a few seconds.
Well, I really would love to stay and chat with you and the Reverend here and everything, but dinner's waiting at home, and I can't neglect baby boy anymore, really.
Baby boy?
Charlie. That's what it's my little name for Charlie. It's
Oh,
just, I wrote a song about it, but
Sure.
anyway, I can't stay long.
Jimmy Joe, I'll tell you what, son. You know that shoe shine place down on the corner?
Yeah?
Trot these go to meeting shoes down there and get them shined up for me, will you? Here, let me give you some money. Here you go.
Will you be back here when I get back, Mrs. Haggers?
No, I don't think so, Reverend.
No. Bye, then.
Bye. See you later, darling.
Be careful now, boy.
Tell you, that child is the cutest thing I ever laid my eyes on in this land. I can't believe. You know, it's no wonder the Lord loves to talk to him as much as he does in his chatting with him all the time, because I'll tell you, it's probably a relief to get to talk with a child like that when you probably have to spend half his day talking with sinners and tackiness and all that stuff.
Yeah. You know, you got a beautiful mind, Loretta, to go along with your beautiful. You're just a beautiful person, right?
Oh, no, thank you. I've got dinner waiting. I had to come here and tell you something.
You sure about that?
Well, all right.
Go ahead.
Oh, well. See, I had to come and tell you something that really needs to be said. And it's a painful thing for me to have to say. I mean, it's kind of embarrassing to me, actually, because of what I kind of hinted at that I would be doing the other day when I was here, which I really can't be doing now. So anyway, I guess I'll just get it over with, and that is that I really cannot go with you and the Reverend to Chicago at the revival.
Why not?
Well, because the good book says that a woman must cleave unto her husband and obey him, right? And Charlie really didn't want me to go, and I just wouldn't be cleaving proper if I went.
Loretta, do you have any idea how much we need you?
Merle, I have thought about that, and I'm telling you, Reverend Jimmy Joe can just preach up a storm without me.
No, I'm not talking about the revival meeting. I'm talking about me. I need you. I need you for the strength that you give me to fight off the spirit of Satan that's coming to me.
Well, I've been doing a lot of thinking about that too, Merle. And I've decided in my head that you is healed from those wicked ways.
Gosh, I wish it was true, Loretta. I wish it more than anything in the world, but it ain't. Shucks, last night, laying in this bed right here, my weakness come on me again real fast. Before I know it, my mind's filled with thoughts and pictures and fantasies, all kinds of carnal sins.
You didn't go to one of them houses again, did you?
No, I didn't do that. Only because I still had a little strength left over from all the talks and the scripture reading you and me been doing together lately. But I'll tell you, laying in that bed last night was nails. I just may have used up all my strength. I know for gosh dang sure I'll fold in Chicago if you aren't there with me. Keep me on the path. And I'll tell you why. I just got a feeling. I don't know where it come from. I got a feeling that there is more carnal temptation in Chicago than there is right here in Fernwood.
I'll tell you what, Merle, I mean, I hear what you're telling me, you know, and it gives me pain and anguish and everything. But the honest to gosh truth, my gut feeling, you know, about what I've got to do and what I know that I have to do is tend to business with this career of mine as a country western superstar. And I'll tell you something, Merle. I'll tell you, that record of mine, Vitamin L, is not climbing those charts the way it should be.
Go on.
No, it's not. I know it. Who can believe it? But it's not. So, I'm afraid, Merle, this is just going to have to be goodbye.
Loretta, don't you know that you can't stop serving the Lord? Don't you know that?
Oh, I'm not going to stop serving him, Merle. I'm going to go to church regular on Sunday, just like I always have. And by the way, I am not going to fall back on my pledge of them 3,000 styrofoam stacked sequined bicentennial Christmas trees. You'll get every last one of them. And another thing, if Vitamin L does start climbing on the chart, you're still going to get the royalties for it.
Well, that's so lovely of you. But I just wonder now, suppose you talk to your husband. Suppose you made him understand how much you're needed. By Jimmy Joe, by me, by the Windy City.
No, Merle. I mean, I hate to say no to his spiritual request and everything, but there's no sense talking about it because this is what's going to have to be. Now, I should just get home. I got to get home now.
Let me ask you this. Let's suppose...
Boy, you're still here. I'm glad.
Well, I'm going to be leaving right now, Reverend. Listen, Jimmy Joe, I'd like to say goodbye to you. I do want you to know, hon, that you have been just an unbelievable inspirational to me, spiritually speaking. And I just want you to know that, hon, because it's something that doesn't happen to a girl every day in her life. And I appreciate it.
Put the
God
shoes
bless you,
down.
hon. And may God be with you. And goodbye, Merle.
Loretta, Bye.
Love that shirt.
Isn't Mrs. Haggard's going to be working for my crusade anymore?
She's gonna be doing a lot more than that, boy. I'll guarantee you. In fact, I'll make you a solemn vow. Loretta Haggers is gonna be your next mommy. And my next wife.
And we started today's episode on the heels of last night's episode, and I didn't even know that was going to happen that way when I said what I said when we started. Of course, as Mary kicks Tom out, he heads straight over to the McCulloughs, and Ken Givens, regular commenter here, has really thought through what Tom's reaction to the McCulloughs coming out would be, and I'm glad to see that it's not what Ken thought it might be, which was maybe a really negative reaction. That may be mixed into what we see next, of course, because, while Tom was very supportive for a 1970s guy of a gay couple, hearing that one of them might be interested in your soon-to-be ex-wife cannot be a good feeling. So I expect there will be some ugliness to come, and I don't know. I had hoped that a couple of episodes ago might be Tom's rock bottom, but I think he's still got some ways to go. But Betty and her agenda, just let it go, Betty. Just let it go. Of course, she's not going to. I think that Ken is right about that one, at least, but I would love for her to just let that go, because there's no changing Howard. Then we get a little bit of a connection scene between Martha and Billy 12 Trees, and then Mary comes right on over and expresses really deep concern for the act of kicking Tom out. And Billy stands by his word there. He really thinks it was the best thing for Mary to do, and Mary still just feels awful. And then we get that scene at the motel, starting with Jimmy, Joe, and Merle. And Jimmy Joe is, of course, expressing some care for Loretta, and Merle is looking forward to being able to pay for nice meals once they go to Chicago. And Loretta has said it clear, and she couches it in Bible thought, like she should be cleaving to her husband because the Bible says so. And maybe I feel like, it would be stronger as a statement to say, I want to stay with my husband. But that's how Loretta thinks, so, that's where she's gonna go. And to her face, Merle seems to accept that she's not going to come along, but then as soon as Jimmy Joe shows that moment of disappointment after Loretta leaves, Merle makes that horrific promise to say that Loretta was going to be Jimmy Joe's mother and Merle's wife. There is nothing good about that. There's nothing good about that. So, as usual, I'm curious to hear what you are feeling about this episode. I'm curious to hear what you're feeling about how we're talking about this episode. Thank you so much for coming along, and we will see you tomorrow night in Fernwood.